just trying to deny the basketball, pressure the basketball, and we knew they was going to do that coming into the game, and so we just couldn't get away from their pressure, and it slowed us down offensively a little bit.
Coach, in the last 5, I think Ben is scoring about 12 a game. He looks like he's kind of like thinking too much.
Yeah.
What can you guys do to kind of help him get out of the little slump that he's in?
Just be aggressive. Talked to him last night. Just attacking, being aggressive. He's not a playmaker. He's a scorer, but I think his playmaking opens up when he's aggressive, getting to the basket, then making the play. And so just being more aggressive, trying to attack downhill, making the right reads.
Ty, not to look too far ahead, but Friday is going to be the most important game of the season. Whoever wins that is the 8 seed. How do you kind of go into that game and kind of make sure guys are mentally locked in to everything that you need to do in a game that will be as important as that one is?
Understanding how they beat us last time. I thought they were really physical. I thought they came in with the mindset that was a big game for them. And so we got to go in with the same mindset on Friday, from the start. Like, not easing into the game. We got to be physical from the start. We got to have a defensive mindset, and we got to make sure we don't have a lot of game plan mistakes. Like, understand what our schemes are and actually execute it.
And Coach, defensively, you threw a lot of zone at them, but it seems like your low man was getting lost or late. Was it just like a lack of communication, guys just getting lost? Guys were late, Coach.
That was really in man. So, it wasn't late in the zone. The zone was really good, but we were late in man.
I apologize.
Well, don't worry about it. When Chet got behind us a few times on the rolls, and that was in man. We didn't do a good job of nudging the screen up, trying to get under. And he's 7 feet, so just throw it up. If you're behind him, it's going to be a dunk. And so our physicality as far as nudging, switching the screens wasn't very good.
Coach, last year the season ended up, at least your play-in fate ended up coming down to the final game of the season. This year you have an opportunity to seal your fate with one of the last couple games of the season. I'm curious if you zoom out on sort of this new play-in beast that the league has added, what you make of this level of competitiveness over these last couple of games and how you hope your team rises to the occasion again.
Yeah, for us, every game's been playing pretty much, just trying to stay afloat, and so I give our guys credit, It's been a tough month of March and coming into April. Just our guys have been, fighting and competing. And, like I said, Friday is the biggest game of the year, for us to try to secure that 8th spot. And so our guys know that, and we're up for the challenge.
Coach, having 2 bigs in at the same time, how do you compete against a team like that when you guys are a lack of bodies in that front line? How do you compete against a team that's, just pretty much has the size over you guys? Yeah,
just got to be more physical, just try to be the most physical team. And their length and size, it stood out, tonight with, Isaiah and Chet, starting the game. So we put our biggest out there, too, with Brooke and JC, and so, it's just part of the game. We understand if we're going to be a small team, we got to be more scrappy, more physical team. And so I thought we did that in spurts, but not enough to win the game.
I kind of touched on Lauren's point a little bit. Because you guys do have the experience of playing in the play-in game or basically what amounted to the play-in game in Game 82 last year, kind of do you think you guys can draw on any of that experience going into a tough environment and getting the win like you did last year going into Friday's game?
Yes, sir.
How do you think that, mentally, what does that do for a team, though?
For a team?
Yeah, for a team, for the fact that you guys were able to do it last year. I know some of the players from last year aren't here.
Right.
But, what can that do mentally for a team knowing they have done it before?
Yeah, just our mindset. It's all about mindset, and the guys that were here last year, they know what it took. We had to go 18-3 down the stretch to make the playoffs, and so last year it was like, every game was a play-in or playoff game, and the same thing has been for us the last, 3 weeks of the season, so we got to get our rest. We got to get on the plane tomorrow with a focus on how we need to play, what we need to do.